Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, KingSimonPresents.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonPresents.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovation. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for mental stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Number are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's KingSimonPresents.wordpress.com. Go now.
Greetings, one and all. It's your brother King Simon, just chilling. Don't forget today, we got a special guest for you today. Those who can hear me, make sure you press 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, press 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put up 1 in the chat, 1 in the chat. Oh, let me turn down applause. I pay these people to applaud for me. That's how that works. You know, I gotta give people money to applaud. Jesus, my goodness. You know, but if you can hear me, you can come on in. Make sure you share, like, because we got a special guest show tonight with other guests popping up. Just want to let everybody know, upcoming. We got on October the 24th, we got Leanna Hanel. She is a health care practitioner and a co-author of Healing Thyself with Dr. Ali Muhammad. But Dr. Ali Muhammad will not be on with us on October 24th. So don't worry, it only will be Liana Hanel. She will be with us, and give that a round of applause because that's going to be fun. Also, don't forget, we got Korea's finest. Oh, yeah, we got a beautiful Korean sister coming in on October 27th, Elizabeth Hoekstra. She is the host of Biohack on Forbidden Knowledge TV. We will be having her on the 27th. That also is a business partner of the one, the only Billy Carson. So Elizabeth will be with us on October 27th. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That should be fun. We're gonna have a good time. So let me we got a guest that's about to come in, man. Let me tell you. Oh man, I've had her on before. Let me take that away and bring myself in the picture. What up? What up? Yeah! Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ. Let me bring myself in here. You know, first and foremost, this is your brother King Simon on the mic, doing everything right. You know how we do. And of course, we got a great show for you today, family. We got the CEO and founder of course, Birth Family Search. Man, I mean, she got a big job. I'm telling you. But if you want to contact her, if you are if you have been adopted and you still looking to connect with family members and more, you know, and she does it also by the help of DNA, and also you can contact her at the business line at 267 304 3959. That's 267 304 3959. And also you could email her at admin@birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. And don't forget this big ass website, www.birthfamilysearch.org, is where you can find out all the great information and testimonials and all the stuff that's going on. And you know, one of their mission, before we bring on our sister, one of the mission statements that this they sister have on the website about them, and I find it to be very admirable. You know, they say their mission: with your help, will be able to go beyond the frontiers and help everyone who is searching for answers as to who they are and where they came from, solving many cases per year in reuniting to reunite biological families. And that is one of the missions that our sister set out to do in her life. And very happy for her because I've known her for many years, know her mom, know her dad too. So I know, you know, I know the family, sisters, brothers, a lot of sisters and brothers. I know a lot of them too. But I was closest to one of the older brothers who is now deceased and a very good friend of mine back in my day, but I won't say his name and all of that. But definitely, we want to welcome right here on King Simon Presents, again, the one and only LEAH LEE in the LEAH.
How you doing? How you doing?
You doing?
Greetings. I'm doing great. I'm doing
How
great.
you doing? Like Wendy Williams.
I'm doing great.
That's good. I'm glad you are doing wonderful. How's the family? How's the children? The husband? How's everybody?
Everybody is doing good. Of course, under
Good.
the circumstances of everything going on, I have to admit everybody is doing good.
Yeah. We all keeping a positive outlook in this. You know, it is
Yeah.
what we call it, a reset.
Yes.
And like Les Brown always taught us back in the day, he says every setback is a set up for a comeback. And
Yeah.
that's how we got
Very
to look
true.
at it. Every
Right.
setback is a set up for a comeback. Write that down, family. That's a good quote. That's a good mantra to think. Every setback is a set up for a comeback. And this is what we're doing. We're coming back. Whatever
Yes.
way we got to come back is a good thing. So, my dear, back again, and you know, you've even got a PowerPoint this time, so this is gonna be
Yes,
wonderful.
I
This is gonna be
do.
wonderful. So, people, I want to remind everybody out there, please share, because you might have somebody out there that really thumb up the video, thumb up the video, share this video, builds the algorithms, because you might have somebody that's been adopted or might want to find their family members they haven't found. I mean, there's some extraordinary stories out there of people finding their. Even Les Brown found his mama's family, which is extraordinary. Actually, he was adopted also. So that was very good that I heard about that. And this is recently, sometime within a year so far. So and what's so ironic about that, LEAH, is that he said that his mother was a motivational speaker also.
Wow.
Well, hey, go ahead. I know.
What I told you about characteristics and what's already in your DNA. And
Exactly.
a lot of people they tend to take things like that for granted. And I always use this one story about how this one guy, he was an adoptee and
Mm-hmm.
he was a DJ, and he
Mm.
had a passion for just music and just
Mm-hmm.
And once we found his biological family, come to find out his father was a DJ. Unfortunately, his father had passed away a couple of months before
Wow.
we found his family, but his father was a DJ and his whole family are like big on music, but
Wow.
it's like it was interesting because they kind of he followed his father's footprints, even, being from the same town that his father was from, chances are they played in the same, clubs and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
But I tell people DNA is deeper than what you see. It goes beyond that.
And, well, let's touch on that for a moment because a lot of people are kind of leery about DNA until they got to do child support. So, I think that's hilarious that you can be leery about
Yeah,
something until child support comes into play. And
right.
hold on, I'm gonna bring myself back up in the camera here. I'm just making sure, setting some stuff here. Uh, exactly, I went through an incident in my sojourn of being a father. And, the mother apparently had, a boyfriend, and we met on a trip and had a one night stand, and boom, had to find out,
Wow.
and, find out about that through, of course,
Of
taking the
course.
DNA. And she was battling between whether it was mine or hers, or his, or
Right.
his or mine. And I said, well, I don't shoot blanks. So I got 9 children to prove that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now 11 grandchildren. So it is what it
Wow.
is. Yeah. I'm not trying to catch up to you know who, but it is. So I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Right.
But it's interesting how at that point that everybody, and I noticed that with religious people, especially like people that may claim to be Hebrew Israelites or
Right.
Kemetic or whatever, although they're starting to discover that people's lineage do go back that far.
Right.
Even when I took mines with AfricanAncestry.com, mines went from North Africa up into Europe on my mother's side
Right.
and down to the Caribbean, all over the place. So we,
Right.
and I wasn't surprised that they talked about Europe because I know we had conquered Europe for many years,
Hmm.
according to J.A. Rogers and studying that research. So tell us about the DNA and how trusted can it be? And should people really take a DNA test if they really want to find out where they come from or where their family lineage come from? Please talk about that.
So most people's biggest question is they feel like their DNA is being shared.
Mm,
Everybody, your DNA is already shared because the reality of it is if you have any one, say 10th cousin, which
mm,
means that you all share the same, let's just say 5 times great grandparent.
mm.
If anybody from that gene, and we're going to show that, I kind of break that down on a PowerPoint.
Okay, okay.
If anyone in that from that descendant line has tested, they have your DNA.
Mm,
And right today, they're breaking a lot of cases
mm,
on old, cases where people murder somebody. They're finding these people from their cousin's DNA. So here's
mm,
the kicker. Like I tell everybody, your DNA is private when it's on 23andMe, it's on Ancestry, it's
mm.
on MyHeritage. It's private.
Yes.
When it becomes public is because you've uploaded it to another database called GEDmatch.
Mm,
GEDmatch is what you use, what law enforcement use. They also connect that to a database called CODIS, which is what
mm-hmm,
they use to, for people that kill people or rape
mm-hmm,
kits and things like that. They match those kits up to what they find on GEDmatch. And then from then they hire somebody like me. We build out a mirror tree for the person and we figure out who the person is that committed the crime.
mm, wow. I mean,
Or
you do
or
all that too?
I had to take a study for that when I did my course. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a real case of
Wow.
somebody in Maryland. And the thing about him was he was a person that passed away. He was deceased. And I had to figure out who his parents were.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it was the reverse of how I currently do it for adoptees. For the adoptees, I usually work on my case and I'm looking for their parents, where this time, this person, they don't have a voice. I'm
Mm-hmm.
working my way up to find out who their ancestors are, to work my way back down to figure out who this person is that has expired.
Now, that's interesting because that's like getting into forensics, then, huh?
It is. It's
It's
forensic
that's right,
genealogy.
genealogy,
And
right? So,
I tell people all the time, this is a territory that's not even really touched yet. They're still trying to figure out, how they can, I guess, work through the courses in schools for these. And unfortunately for me, I was lucky enough that, the guy who owned the school, he also does it for like a lot of law enforcement and things like that. And I had applied for the school like 5 years before. And so he said, I saw your email or whatever. I came across it. He's like, I'm willing to give you the opportunity. And I'm like, of course I'm jumping on this, So I
right.
was lucky. I was lucky.
No, and people that are just tuning in, make sure you check out her website. I just want to remind, of course, it's www.birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. And remember, family, Birth Family Search is a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping
Yes.
adoptees and everybody, everyday people, find loved ones. Find your loved ones. So, and I think that's very important because And now, are you only doing it in America? Or are you doing it in the Caribbean? Are you doing it in English? Because
It's
people are
funny that
asking.
you said that.
Okay.
I do it everywhere. I do have world access.
Okay.
And recently I used to tell people, oh, I only do it for, America,
Yes.
because I worked on a case about 3 years ago and
Mm-hmm.
all the records was in a different language. I had to find a translator,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm uploading this stuff to Facebook and I'm like, hey, can anybody read this?
Yeah.
So I have started, like right now, I have a case for a lady that lives in Australia. So
Mm-hmm.
I have started taking cases outside of the United States.
Good. Congrats. Because I remember last time you did tell me it was for
Yeah.
last time I had you was only for
Yes.
America, and that's
Yes. We have
and
expanded.
that's it. Hey, give that a round of applause. Yeah. Okay. 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 Make that
And
money. No, I'm
I'll say,
joking.
right now, it's not just me.
Right.
I
Right.
have I have between 13 and 15 search angels that now help as well with cases as well.
Talk
So when
about
you go,
talk about that search angels. Go ahead. What you was about to say, but talk about the search angels right after.
when you go into our Facebook group, we
Mm-hmm.
have about 3,500 members now, and it's growing every day.
Mm.
So you have people who are like, hey, I'm an adoptee. I took the DNA test. I don't know what I'm looking at. Any one of the search angels might respond to you and say, hey, I'll take over your case. And once they
Mm.
take on your case, they're pretty much helping you from beginning to end until they find out who your parents are or your siblings or the person who you're looking for.
And you could also be found on Facebook and IG also. That's correct.
Yes,
Certain
yes,
Burt Family Search. That's
yes.
exactly what it is. Okay, just want to remind them and put that in my link here. Make sure everybody knows that under Burt Family Search, you can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. So you can. There's no excuse not to connect any place and
Right.
all over the world and on website. That's www.birthfamilysearch.org. That
.org.
means you can contact them all 196,940,000 square miles. So now, how do you now? I know we got some testimonials. Going to bring them up momentarily. I
Yes.
see them in the backstage already. I see Tanya. I see Charmaine. I see Carol in the building. So we're gonna bring y'all in, sisters, and it's all these beautiful sisters. Well, two of them ain't showing themselves, but they got pictures. They got pictures. I see what's happening here. But tell us, how do you at least groom a search angel? How do you groom a search angel to do what you do?
this this is a funny thing. A
Mm,
lot of them have come to me.
mm,
And so a lot of them, it's like, my first question is, have you ever helped someone? Because this is not something that you just, I'll just try it and see what happens. You have
right.
to have experience. This takes extensive hours. Well, some
Mm-hmm,
cases, even years.
mm-hmm,
But I mean, it's cases that I've solved in 4 hours. Is
mm-hmm.
one of my longest cases took 5 years.
Whoa.
So, right. So I always tell people this is something that you really have to be dedicated to. You really got to put everything into it. You have to put the person that you're helping as priority,
Mm,
because you have to look at it and say, they already went through something before they came to you. Now
mm-hmm,
you are that part that's going to share their journey with them to take them to that other side of their journey.
mm.
And so a lot of times when I complete helping people, I always tell them, I'm excited for you and I'm looking forward to your new journey, because that's really what it is. It's a
That's
new
right.
journey to them getting to know their biological family, families that they never met.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
also a new journey for them to learn a lot more about themselves, because sometimes you're going to learn about yourself through your families.
That's right. That's right. And that's interesting. But with and a lot of these people come to you to become this search angel. And have you found that they were very dedicated to what they want to do, or did you find some to be lackadaisical, some to be, not ready for that type of extensive research? Did you find that
The
in it?
the thing about it is I tell them that all of our search angels are volunteer. So if they
Mm,
decide they want to go hard on your case and work at it 24/7, that's on them. If they decide they only want to do 2 hours out of the week, that's still on them. Like I try not to push any of them. They can't all work on their own time. I mean, I don't push them. They are very good at what they do. I mean, I have search angels that have closed cases in a few hours,
mm,
literally. And then,
mm,
some of them are still staggering because sometimes it takes help from the other family members to want to help the person. And
mm,
sometimes, yeah, you find some people, they shut you out. They ignore your text messages. They ignore your emails and your calls. Oh, you get cursed out, you know?
mm,
But
mm,
like I said, it's the dedication overall. And you have to know what it is, what the end result, what the goal is, and why
mm,
you're doing it.
mm,
The why
mm.
is so important.
Now, people that are just tuning in, I want to make sure that y'all share, and please thumb up the video because this is very important information because there's many out there that definitely needs to find family, definitely needs to reacquaint themselves with family, definitely needs to find out what's the mystery of in their bloodline in some
Yeah.
sense, in some way. So we have our guest, Leah Lee. Let's give her another round of applause. Of course, CEO and founder of the Bird Family Search. And you can contact her at, that's the right number, right? Two six
Yes.
seven three zero
304
four
39.
thirty nine fifty nine. Okay. And
Yes.
of course, that the admin at birdfamilysearch.org. Now, one of someone we both know here asks if any unique cases in your
Ooh.
person. Now, this is what somebody we both know. I won't say who it is, but we both know who this person is. Ancestral Gift. Pick
Yeah.
up the Ancestral Gift all the time. What's up, girl?
When you say unique, I come across a lot of unique cases. So
Mm,
I have this one guy who I'm helping. His family once owned land. And
mm,
so his main purpose is to try to track down how the land that his family owned were sold, because a lot of times you find out they were illegally transferred and sold and shouldn't have been sold to people. So his main purpose is to track down all of his family members because, as most people know, if you had a great grandfather who owned land, let's just say in South Carolina as an example, and they inherited the land to their descendants, that's all of their descendants, that's all of their grandchildren together as a unity. They're all supposed to come together to sell the land. So if it wasn't done legally or you left one person out, then guess what? You can now go back and try to figure out how you can get your land back. So that's one of my cases. Another unique case is I am working with a girl who, well, her case is completed, but I started working on her case and I started sending her pictures of family members that was on her. She was searching for her biological father. Her mother had passed away when she was very, very young. And come to find out, as we started working on her case, I started sending her pictures of people that would have been, or people that is her aunts and uncles on her father's side. And she's like, wow, the people look so familiar in this picture.
mm-hmm.
She sends the picture to her children's father. Come to find out, she had a child with her first cousin because she did not
Whoa.
know.
Wow. Wow.
So those are the type of cases I come across. It's they're all different,
Mm,
and for a lot of them, it's like I build a good relationship, and I keep up with a lot of them. They keep
mm-hmm.
up with me, and you know, the reality of it is not knowing can
Mm-hmm.
hurt you. Not
Mm,
knowing who your ancestors are, it can hurt you. Most people are like, oh, well, why you want to know that? Why are you digging up the past? The past
mm-hmm.
is important for your future.
Yeah, I almost had a cousin that dated dated one of his cousins, a family member that dated one of their cousins. Until they talked to me, and I say, she's related to some, and he didn't know. I gotta admit, he really didn't know. But
Right.
the creator so has it that no, that didn't happen. They just had an infatuation with each other, but didn't realize that was the
The,
that was
the
the
it
the
was the
connection.
wrong type of infatuation. The
Infatuation.
connection should have been something else, but it was a physical attraction that they couldn't, they didn't get it.
Exactly. Somebody said, "Wow, why I don't date people who resemble me." You're damn right. Could be your daddy, no, or
Yeah.
your brother. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But once again, family, please tune in and make sure you lock into her website. That's birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. Of course, you can contact her right here, of course, at that 267 number 304-3959. That's
Yes.
267-304-3959, and admin at birthfamilysearch.org. And also you can find on them on birthfamilysearch.org on FB and IG. One more question before we start introducing these great people that actually are your testimonials here.
Yes.
Why is it that you took the time out to want to do this? What was the deeper purpose of this, Leah?
A
Please
lot of reasons.
go ahead.
Um, I always tell people one of my main ones was trying to help a lot of cases, a lot of people reunite to their family. To me, breaking some cycles of generational curses, as we call them.
Hmm.
Another reason was trying to tap into my own family ancestry
Hmm.
DNA,
Hmm.
trying to make sense of what I was seeing versus what I was hearing. A lot of
Mm,
us, we get a lot of oral history, but how do we know that that oral history is facts? How do we
mm,
know that that oral history is the truth?
mhm,
A lot of our families kept, Bibles, and that's where they kept a lot of the children's names that was born.
mhm,
But at the same time, they had things like a lot of times I come across cases where a person takes the DNA test and we call them non-explained paternity, which means they took the DNA test and they were
mhm,
shocked to find out that their father was not their father.
mm. Yes.
So it's like these days it's so common. I mean, I come across these cases more regularly than I do regular adoptees now.
Mm,
And small towns, people didn't have cell phones and you couldn't keep track of the woman back then. I mean, if she
right.
was at John Doe's house, that's where she was. And nobody questioned when the child was born. He took
Exactly.
care of that child like he did all of his other children.
Exactly.
And so it is always a deeper reason as to why you do things like that. Also, um, I also started this journey knowing that my grandmother also gave up a child for adoption, but
Mm.
it was one of those closed adoptions. And still to this day, still can't seem to find him
On your
because
father's side or your mother's side?
on my mother's side,
Wow. Wow.
it was a
Wow.
closed adoption, and I'm still looking for him.
No, I think this is a very admirable thing that you're doing, and of course, I applaud you again. Keep that applaud going. Of course, got
Thank
to keep
you.
on applauding. Everybody else looks like they applaud. Well, I see Tanya applauding. So, on that note, we're gonna bring on these great guests these great people that are. I'm bring all three of them because I don't want to keep
Yes.
them too long
They
because I know you
and
got a
they've never
powerful.
met each other. They've never even spoken to one another.
Oh,
So
get
these
out
are,
of here!
and
So,
I keep saying they all have similar stories. It's amazing. They're amazing. I mean, just the women in themselves, their stories is amazing.
okay, well, family, what we're going to do is welcome Tanya Blandon, Charmaine Mosby, and Carol Phillip right
Yes.
here on the stage, virtual stage of King Simon Presents KSP TV. Let's bring on Tanya first, and then what's up, Tanya? What's up, girl? How you doing?
Greetings.
And let's
Hello,
bring on.
hello.
Hello, hold on one second. Let's bring on Charmaine in the building. Charmaine, what's up? What's up? What's up? How you doing? Where you at, Charmaine? We need to take you off of mute. Get off of mute. Let me see. You got to unmute your mic,
Okay, I'm
Charmaine.
here. I'm here.
There,
I'm here.
there,
Thank you,
all
Lou.
right. There you go. There you go.
Thank you for
And
having me.
last but not least, let's bring on Carol Phillip. Carol, how you doing?
Hello.
Carol,
King Simon.
hello,
Thanks for
hello.
having
How
us.
you doing?
Hey, Leah.
You're welcome. All
Hi,
right.
how are you?
Giving y'all a well-deserved
Greetings.
round of applause. Had to give y'all a round of applause because I know this is not an easy journey sometimes, and I'm proud of every one of you. I don't know all of you well, but please, I'm proud of every one of you and what you're doing and how you chose to take that step to find out because sometimes it's not easy.
Right.
I've seen it in friends that I've gone through that wanted to find out more. And going to Leah before I go to before you introduce the testimony, I'll let Leah do the testimony introduction because I want her to be a part. But Leah, I found that can you use your service to even find out where they come from? Like, although they know their family here, can they use your service to find out where their ancestry come from?
It's It's interesting because all three of I'll say four because, African ancestry is considered one as well. But I
Yes.
always tell people when you're looking for family, you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
close cousins, you're looking
Mm-hmm.
for aunts, use Ancestry because they have the larger database. I mean, by the millions.
Okay.
And then when you're looking for things like, is there cancer in my family?
Mm.
Do we have medical issues, medical information in my DNA? You would go to
Mm-hmm.
23andMe. When you go
Mm.
to African ancestry, that would be the test that you would take to find out. I want to know what tribe of Africa or where on earth did my ancestors come from.
Mm-hmm.
African ancestry is who you would use for something like that.
Mm, okay, so that's how you do that to find the deeper
Yes.
connection to the family. Just want to remind everyone that's tuned in, we have our guest Leah Lee in the building, CEO and founder of Burt Family Search. You can contact her at that 267 number 304-3959. That's 267-304-3959. And don't forget the admin. You can hit her up at admin@burtfamilysearch.org. And if you're on Facebook or IG, you could also become a friend, befriend her on those, join the groups, all of that kind of stuff.
I welcome
Remember,
everybody.
yes, right. She welcomes everybody, because all of you got a DNA. We understand. All right. Birth Family Search is a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping
And
adoptees and
and you
everyday people
do get
find
a
loved ones.
donation receipt. So that's to
Yes.
tell you we're
That's
official. You
right.
get
That's
a
right.
donation receipt
That's
to
right.
file
That's
for
right.
your taxes. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Give a round of applause. That's right. That's right. And of course, again, now we have these three beautiful guests with us. Now, escort us through this. What happened, Leah? You start and then bring them on. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll tell
Escort.
you this much.
Mm-hmm.
Carol's case took the longest for me to crack.
Wow.
Her
Wow.
case took me 5 years.
Whoa.
Tanya's case, what was it, like maybe 2-3 weeks? Probably less than that.
20 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. 20 days.
Uh-huh.
Charmaine's case took the least amount of time. And Charmaine was, she was on me. Any new updates? What's going on? Anything new? I found this person. I found that person. So they all have a different story. And I would love for you guys to share your story as much as you want to share. That's all on you. I just thank you all for being with me.
Okay, let's start with Tanya first. Tanya, share your story real quick. Go ahead, my sister. 20 days. Wow. Go
20
ahead.
days, even though I had been looking since 1985.
Whoa. Wow. Go
I had
ahead.
been looking since 1985, but after I had my reading with you, and you
really?
gave me yes.
Oh, but we never met. We never met. We just had
No.
you just did a session. Yes.
Yes.
I know she keep on saying that I know you, and I say I get so many thousands of people I do sessions for. But yes, I'm glad. Yes, you did do a session with me. Yes, I remember. I remember the name now. Yes.
And you gave me Leah's name and contact information. I reached out to her that day, unknowing that the countdown was on, because literally she started researching my case that day. And 20 days later, I had contacted my my maternal family.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And what was that like? What was that like connecting with that part of now? Is that your mother's side or father's side?
My mother's side. She was able to help me with my mother's side.
Okay.
Actually, Ancestry.com assisted me with my father's side. And I've connected with them as well. But that was easier because my first cousin had his full name and I was able to reach out to him directly.
Wow.
When it came to my mother's side, I had to wait till New York State gave me her name and her place of birth. And my sister did her thing and I was able to connect with women that I ended up finding out were my half sisters. So I had never had a sister before, so now I have three, and so that's a very pleasant. It was a very pleasant surprise, and it's been a good outcome.
Now, Tanya, that's very beautiful to know. And was there any tears of joy? Was there any how did this meeting and all this go on? Come on now, talk to us. People want to know.
Well, we were planning on meeting that Saturday, and so I decided to go get my nails done. And the lady who does my nails, she's done my nails for 5 years, and she knows about the family that I grew up in and everything like that. But that particular day, for some reason, she asked me if I had any sisters. And just hearing that did reduce me to tears, because and we were meeting that afternoon, that evening. And so, and I met them, we shared information. They were very agreeable to do tests. I had tests ready for them that evening. They took it. They came back in, I think, about 3 weeks, I think it was, as they were my half sisters. So that was like really, really exciting. And through that search, and then connecting on that side, and now I've also connected on my father's side. We did more DNA tests because he came from a large family as well. So we had to figure out which brother it was. And we did that through just, process of elimination, age, and things of that nature. And I was able to do a DNA test with him recently. And it's been confirmed who my biological father is also. So I found both.
It was like 99.99 something percent. It was like that's the father.
No more needed. No more needed.
Right.
That's an interesting. That's a beautiful story, man. And I hope you're writing about that, because it's very important. As I look at your name, you're supposed to journal and put some stuff down. You know what it is. I think we already talked about that.
Yes, we did.
Yes, I know. See, I'm looking at names. I don't even remember her birthday right now, but I know her name is telling me she needs to be doing that. Now let's go to Charmaine. Charmaine, what's up, darling? How are you? And welcome to the show. Also, what's up, Charmaine?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Tell us your story, and how did this come along with you working with Leah also? Go ahead.
Oh goodness. So I was adopted, and by the time I was 18, I was able to get in contact with my biological family on my mother's side. And so she told me that the guy whose name that was on my original birth certificate is not my father. Another guy is my father. Come to find out, he passed away like maybe 10 years later. And I've always had that feeling that, if she had another guy's name on my birth certificate, why would she say a different guy is my father?
Right.
So after he passed away, I took an Ancestry DNA test because I just had that feeling that this guy wasn't my father. And true enough, I had my brother, which I thought he was my brother, take a test. I had my cousin take a test, and this is before I even met Leah. I just had them take the test, so I can know, because I didn't believe. I knew it, but I didn't want to believe that he wasn't my father, and he wasn't.
Of course.
And so I just ran across her Facebook page, and I'm like, please help me. I need help. Nobody's wanting to help me. I don't know where to go. I begged, and she was like, I would take your case. And for the longest, and now she thought this was so funny, but I thought she was a white lady.
Yeah.
Because I'm from Arkansas. And I was like, oh, this white lady is helping me out. And I was like, she is so sweet. She's setting up this poor little black lady. And and for the longest, we talked for months, and I thought she was a white lady, and she was but long story short,
that's how professional she was.
She was very, very professional, and she was on it. I mean, very professional. And I and basically she helped me narrow it down, and come to find out, she solved 2 cases, mine and also my first cousin. Actually, he's my second cousin. She ended up solving 2 cases, helping me. She ended up helping one of my cousins find out who his father was, because he was lied to for a lot of years about his father.
Wow. No. Let's step back a little bit, Charlotte. Congratulations, of course. Congratulations go out to you and the family. Now, but let's step back, because I know that can be very traumatizing, not knowing that a man that you thought was your father all this time is not your father. How and how did you feel? What was the emotions that came over you when it really was a fact that it was not your father? What was that emotion all about, sister? Please.
Oh my goodness. It was a bad feeling because when you're an adoptee, you already
Mm-hmm.
feel like your family didn't want you, or, you
Mm.
know, kind of like, threw you away, so to speak. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you're on that search, you just want to be accepted and want to figure out where
Yes.
you come from. And
Yes.
the lady that spoke before me, she had a good outcome, but I'm still trying to get the guy that I think is my biological father to actually
Mm.
talk to me, because right now, he doesn't want anything to do with me.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
it's a lot of hurtful, but it's just I guess it's filling a hole in my heart just for me to know who
Right.
he
Right.
is,
Right. Right.
whether
Well,
we have that relationship or not.
looking at your namesake, from a numerologist person's perspective, just remember forgiveness is the highest form of healing. And
Okay.
sometimes you got to forgive people because they went through bull crap before you was even born.
Mm.
Right.
So you don't want to transfer this to any of your children or family that you have. So if you always present a clean glass, my sister, as long as your glass is clean, whatever he's going through, whatever that person's going through, don't worry, you'll be all right. As long as it's not, you don't want it to affect any children or family you may have going forward, but still continue doing what you're doing. And again, healing, forgiveness is the highest form of healing, because
Mhm.
sometimes it's their problem, not yours. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Thank you.
Because
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
found
It
them.
makes sense.
You already found it. You know
It,
what I'm saying?
yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh, you're gonna
yeah.
make me cry now, but it's
I know. I'm
hey.
sorry. I'm good at that too. I try to pull it out of people. That's why I do what I do. That's why they call me the Numerovator, because you got a lot of healing and writing energy also. So you need to write, journal, and put it into book form. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? And turn your pain, pleasures, and passion into profit. So it can at least be a what we call legacy for your own children and grandchildren to come, and
Yes.
make sure you work with Leah to keep your lineage and your family tree going, so everybody will know what it is. So they won't
Okay.
have to go
Thank
back
you.
and do the same thing you're doing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. And that's my
that's
whole
real.
purpose of doing this.
I give you a round of applause. Yeah. Now, anything else you want to say about the situation moving forward before I go to the next person? How you
Well, I
feel?
just want to I just want to thank her so much. She has really
Yes,
she
yes,
stay on top of her business. She's on it
yes,
24/7. She allowed me to call her anytime, no matter what time it
yes,
is, and I love
yes.
her for that. And
Oh, thank
Oh, give
may
you.
a
God
round of
continue to
applause.
bless her.
Another round of applause for Leah. Oh my God, Leah, you're gonna get all the applause. And I pay these people the applause. Let me tell you, I know Leia for years, since I was younger and she was younger, and I know her father and her mother are deep researchers, always into the history and all that kind of stuff. So her mom's definitely is a researcher, so I
Yeah.
know, she used to research for books and stuff back in the day. So I wouldn't expect anything less from Leia. Never expect anything less, and especially being born on the 13th. That is a number that needs to research and dig, and they don't take nothing on face value. They gotta
Right.
go in and they gotta dig in. And they put in
I
the hard
dissect
work.
everything.
Yeah,
Dissect
under that
everything.
they all about that hard work. So I
Yeah.
understand. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to the next one. Carol Phillips. What's up, Carol Phillips? How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having us. Hi. Hello,
Hi.
hello.
She's saying hello to all of y'all.
Yes. I'm just to
Yes.
piggyback off the previous person. Yes,
Uh-huh.
Leah is a search angel. The
Yes.
work she does is absolutely amazing, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life, and to have met her, to have, gotten this information, and how it
Mm,
all started.
please.
um is just so funny because she called me one day and we were talking about her own family search that she was doing and the
Mhm.
extensive research she found. And she just said to me one day, Carol, you should let me do your family tree. And I was like, I kind of laughed about it, thought it was a big joke. I was like, you're not going to find anything. I had started my search process in my early 20s, kind of kept hitting a dead end because I didn't have a name to my biological parents. So I just told her, you know, Leah, you're not going to find anything. I don't have any names. Everything's sealed. I had hit a dead end because I would have had to go to the court and pretty much petition the judge for access. And I didn't want to do that process. So I kind of just accepted I was adopted into a loving 2-parent household and loved the mother and father I had. So I was pretty much just content. But here Leah was just like, no, I'm really great at what I do. I always find something. Let me do this. And I'm like, and I remember saying this to her. I said, okay, Leah, if you're bored and you just want something to do, go ahead and knock yourself out and have fun with this. Because I know it was like a passion, a hobby of hers. So I said, look, if you're bored, you just want something to do, here you go. Have fun with it.
And
I literally did not think
she
anything was going to come out of
me,
this.
and she told me this was going to be the hardest case of your life. And she was right. She was
So
right.
you're not going to find anything, but knock yourself out. And fast forward to 5 years later, you know, everything was still open and pending. We had hit a dead end. But she contacted me January of last year and asked me if I had submitted my application. I was born in New York and also adopted in New York. So she said, oh, you know, New York State just passed the law. You can get your pre-adoption birth certificate now. And I had no idea. She contacted me and told me that. I looked it up. I sent in my application January of last year. Then fast forward to March, COVID happened. All the state offices got shut down. Everything got delayed and put on hold. I didn't get an update until this year when I followed up, and I didn't get the birth certificate in the mail until July of this year. And I submitted that application January of last year. So yeah, long story short, got the birth certificate, got the name of my mom, and she continued on with her search. Once you give Leah a name, that's it. That's all she needs. Once she has a name, that was what we needed. So, you know, really that law being passed in New York was the big catalyst for me, for my situation. That was the thing that opened the door. So once Leah got the name, I think I checked the mail Saturday. I called Leah. I remember it was on a Sunday when I opened the mailbox and I got it. She was at Donny Park with her family doing something, and I gave her the name. She said, as soon as I get home, I'm going to plug this in. I swear to you, within 24 hours, Leah had information on my great-great-grandmother that passed in South Carolina.
Wow.
My grandmother, that all linked to the address that was on the birth certificate. Like within 24 hours, she was already in contact with a cousin who put her in touch with my uncle. And they were already on the phone. And my uncle was like, we didn't know, you know, she had a baby. We didn't know about the baby, but we're going to welcome her with open arms. And as soon as I heard those words, you know, my heart just melted. I was just in tears. So
of course.
Yeah, I was just grateful that when my uncle was connected, because as Leah said, these situations as adoptees, you know, you have to go into this with all different mindsets, preparing for all different outcomes, because it's not always a happy ending. Everyone doesn't always get their happy ending. So I was pretty much expecting the worst. And to have been connected with my uncle, who was just so open and receptive to the whole process. He was willing to do the DNA test. He was just excited about it. I was just so happy. So yeah, and everything connected. The results came back, and he was my uncle. Once he got that confirmation, I was on the phone with family, and then we coordinated. We met like the next day. I was going to New York to meet with a friend, and some of them lived in Harlem, where my family was. I was raised in Brooklyn. My adopted family was from Brooklyn. So I've been repping Brooklyn all my life, but I'm a Harlem baby, turns out. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, I met up with my family in Harlem, and we all look alike, and I can see the features, nose, the gap. It's just great seeing the pictures of my mom and hearing the stories about her. And I'm not an only child. I actually have an older brother. A nephew. So I'm an auntie too. So
all of that.
That's really what I was looking for. I was very much content with the parents that I had, but I wanted to know family biological information, family history information, and then if I had any siblings, that was the big thing for me. And find out I do have a sibling. So it's just so great. It's such a miracle.
That's a great. Give you a round of applause. Also, That's another great story because obviously you and Leah know each other a little longer than
Yeah.
everybody else, of course. And I think, shoot, I think Leah, you need to do a compilation book or something.
Everybody is telling me
You
this.
need to do this. You playing. You know what
Everybody
I'm saying?
tells me I should write these stories out because you wouldn't
Yeah.
believe some of the stories in some of the cases. You'll be like,
And let
some
them
of the
add
stories,
on.
some of the stories sound so fake, like you wouldn't believe. Like that whole cousin story.
Yeah,
It's
the whole
like
cousin
what?
story.
So people tell me all the time, like you should put a compilation book of all your
Yeah.
different cases and just change out the names. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not my
Hey,
thing. My thing is
look.
just working on this.
Well, at least all three of these ladies can do it and come together with you, and y'all just
It's,
and
it's wild.
already they're not afraid to tell their story, so their
Yeah,
names will definitely be right there in the book. But everybody can make some type of generational wealth with together, because this is all
absolutely.
about because it takes a unified force to make even all this come together, especially you being a search angel, and then you calling and contacting whoever to find this and find that. This is a really interdependent work. It's not just
Yeah,
independent; it's
yeah,
interdependent because you have to connect with the DNA places. You got to connect with probably the birth certificate place over there, and you got to do all this type of work. So
yeah.
that this is a great thing that you've decided to take on. And you ladies, I am so proud of your journey. Giving y'all a well-deserved round of applause for even coming on and giving us your testimony. I respect all of you for and when y'all do produce what y'all supposed to produce, because I can see that y'all supposed to be producing some stuff. Stop playing with this. And look, one thing I've learned by studying, I studied under Les Brown for a whole month back in 2005, and he says, "Yo, between life and death, what do you got to lose? Just do
Mm,
it. Just do it. If it's good for yourself and your family and your legacy, eventually, just do it."
right.
It's all about, and this is a journey that you want to, like I said to the sister before, to share with your descendants to come. That family tree on my wall. I have ancestors that go back to people I never met,
Yeah.
and this is in Jamaica and Cuba. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start asking those questions, I asked my grandfather the question. Come to find out, he was a friend of Marcus Garvey. He died at 103 years
Wow.
old. You know
Wow.
what I'm saying? And then my other side, one of my grandfathers was the chef of Cuba's Fidel Castro while they was going through the revolution. You know how you'd have to trust somebody to
Do
be
you?
cooking for
The,
you during
the
the
thing is,
revolution?
do you know what's encoded in his DNA that he's passing down? That's the key
Exactly.
that people fail to pay attention to, because what the
Exactly.
things that they go through, it forms in their DNA and get passed down to generations after.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
deep.
And I realized even with weapons, and I knew I heard my grandfathers them were very good with machetes. And I have a machete, and I didn't never practice with a machete like that. But when I hold one, I know how to swing it and do all kinds of stuff, and I'm moving and I'm feeling, and I'll close my eyes and do it, just so I can just feel what's happening and
Let
do.
me.
Go ahead, please
I
go.
can stress on that. So my
Yes.
grandfather, he was a two-time Purple Hearts.
Woo!
My mother's father. He was a
Mother's fault.
sniper for the military.
Mm.
And I have an uncle. We one day just lining bottles on top of a building. They lived in Michigan and shooting bottles, and he hits all three targets without
Wow.
without a
Wow.
flinch. But
Wow.
that's what I'm saying by people don't pay attention to what's in their DNA.
Right.
Things get passed down, traumas too. Things get
Yes.
passed down in the DNA. I mean,
Wow.
and for you to see something like that, you're like, wait, have you shot bottles before? No, like this is my first try. Like, no, seriously. Like, what are you playing video games all day? No, it's in
No,
his DNA.
it's in the DNA. That's right. It's right. Big up to Chuck Morgan. What's up, Chuck? Thank you for coming on and watching, brother. And everybody that's tuning in. Chuck got his own channel. Make sure you check out his channel. Great brother, man. Great researcher himself. Now, before I let you ladies go, any last words you want to say to our sister and to the world and why I was important, why is it so important? Let's start off. We'll start off with Tanya first. Go ahead, Tanya.
I just want to thank you again, Leah,
Yes.
for taking on my case, really answering questions and opening up some things for me. And also you, my brother Simon, for really just putting me on track to really get some things done.
Yes, ma'am.
Finding your people is so important
Yes, it is.
because it really pushes you forward to know where you came from. And the
Mhm.
connections I've already made with family on both sides has actually put me on different career paths, things for me to
Mhm.
really do. And I just
Yes.
have to say thank you.
Thank
You're
you. Thank you.
welcome.
Give her a round of applause. Next. Okay. Thank you very much, Tanya. I'm gonna take you off. Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. All right. Next, Charmaine. Go ahead, Charmaine. Do your thing.
I just want to say I appreciate both of you guys just for putting it out there. This is something new for me. Just for me to
Mhm.
even speak on this on a
Mhm.
public platform is something big and major for me. So I appreciate it so much for having me on the show
Mhm.
and
Thank you. Thank
just for
you.
giving us a chance, giving me a chance to share. Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to share your story. Thank you, my sister. Thank you. Thank you. Next.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, also be mindful if there's anything that people can do to help adoptees gain access to their pre-adoption birth certificates. There are many
Mhm.
states. There are about only 9 states in the U.S. that provides unrestricted access. New York
Mhm.
being the most recent one added to the list, and there's about 37 other states where they provide like restricted access, but with very limited exceptions. In most states, you adoptees are unable to get this information about
Wow.
their families or anything because they have to go to the courts, and it's a whole process. Some
Mhm.
states don't even allow you access without permission from the parent. So
Mhm.
um, just look for any petitions that you may find on websites like change.org,
Yes.
because that was the thing that really helped New York State,
Yep.
signing those petitions, and
Mhm.
that law being passed was the thing that opened the gate for me. So
Mhm.
signing those petitions definitely helped. And Leah, thank you again
Thank
for
you.
your work and for solving this case.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, beautiful. And Leah got a PowerPoint we're gonna deal with right now because I can't wait. Thank you, Carol, once again. Of course, want to thank, of course, of Charmaine. We want to thank Tanya for coming up. Now, Leah, that was extraordinary testimonials.
Thank you.
And that's beautiful to see what kind of work you're doing. Once again, family, make sure you go to our website. That's the birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. Don't hesitate to share this information again, and again, because there's many people that are adopted and don't know their parents, don't know their family, don't know who their cousins are, and their
Right.
grandmammy, their grandpappy, all that kind of. Please like, thumb up, and share this video because it's all about sharing is caring. And of course, once again, remember Birth Family Search, like she said, .org. Birth Family Search is a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping adoptees and everyday people find loved ones. And don't forget, you can contact our beautiful sister via 267 304 3959. That's 267 304 3959. And don't forget, you could hit her up at the email. That's admin at birthfamilysearch.org. That's admin at birthfamilysearch.org. And don't forget, Birth Family Search on FB and on IG. Are you ready to do your share, my dear?
I am.
Now I don't know who keep on coming up with the roots. I don't know. I never sent you the link, the root. So I don't know how that root that got to you. So I'm going to knock you off. Please go to YouTube, family, if you want to find out at King Simon Presents. Somebody keep on coming up. I know I didn't send them the links. Okay, so again, go ahead, my dear. You let me know when you're ready to share that, and we're gonna go into
Okay.
this PowerPoint. You know, yeah. So very important, family, that you remember. Let me let y'all know what's coming up before we
Should
share
I
that
share
link
it?
with her. Yeah, as soon as I don't see you come up yet, so I'm waiting for
Okay.
you. Don't forget, on the 24th, Leanna Hanel is coming in, co-author of Healing Thyself, and then Elizabeth Hoekstra, host of Biohack on Forbidden Knowledge TV. She is also coming up on the 27th. Now, did you share it on your screen? I don't. I see it coming up. Okay, there you
Got
go.
it.
Now I see it coming. All righty,
Okay.
let's do it. Let's see
Start
what
from
we
the
got here.
beginning. Okay.
Bang! There you go. All right.
So I
Go ahead.
decided to do a slideshow just to give people the basics
Yes.
of DNA because you still have a lot of people out here who say that it's for novelty, it's fake, it don't really
Mm-hmm.
work.
Yep.
So this is just the basic to understand a family tree and DNA.
Okay, please.
So the first slideshow is pretty much showing a basic family tree. Unless you have a first cousin that maybe, or maybe your parents had a child with their first cousin, everybody should have a set of grandparents on their mother and their father's side. Of course, unless, like I said, they are sharing first cousin had children. And then, of course, you would knock this out. And of course, that kind of takes it down to the next generation down. So as I said, everybody, this is what your family tree should look like. If you know the names of all of these people, then your chances are you're doing better than most people, because most people can't go beyond their parents, or they'll have two sets on either their mother's side or their father's side. And we can always go beyond that, of course, because once you hit grandparents, as most people know, the 1950 census becomes available April of 2022. I can't wait. Oh my goodness. That means all of us will be able to see our parents as children on the census records.
Really?
So that's a great thing. Yes. If they were born around the 1950s, because the last census that came out was the 1940s. So anybody born before the 1940s, that's pretty much it. So anybody born right before the 1950s, you'll be able to see them on the census. So that would be a lot of our grandparents and things like that.
Wow.
Most people don't understand the cousin removed chart. So I decided to show this just to give people a basic understanding of what it is.
Yes.
So you have you here. You have your parents. So here is where a first cousin once removed comes in. That is where your first cousin had a child. So instead of it being, you don't call them a second cousin. A second cousin would be them sharing the same great grandparents. First cousin removed is one generation removed below you, below your cousin. So hopefully a lot of people understand that, because a lot of people get confused with that.
Wait, say that again. You're going to have to remix that one, please.
Now, you see, I just went above. Okay, so you see you, right? You see your parents, you see your grandparents. You having a first cousin, which is this person right here, means you all share the same grandparents.
Right.
Your first cousin having a child would be your first cousin once removed.
Once removed. And what does that mean? What do you mean
that
once
means
removed?
You're removed from one generation above.
Okay.
So that would be like, say, for example, your first cousin had a child. That child would be your first cousin once removed, because your first cousin is your first cousin's child.
Okay. So and that's your. Okay, I think I got it.
Going down. So once that first cousin once removed have a child, then that would be a first cousin twice removed, and it keeps going down. A lot of people get confused with
it's sounding confusing. Yes. So and from a layman's perspective, what does that mean for that cousin?
Just think of it as a cousin having children would mean removed.
Okay, a cousin having children.
That's the easiest way to remember it, because most people a lot of people say, what is a first cousin once removed? And I'm like, just think of it as your cousin having a child. That's that's going down a generation, down another generation, and it keeps going down. So as you can see, you go all the way up to great grandparents. And of course, you see the first cousin removed all the way over as well.
So now, in certain cultures, you find people marrying their cousins and is that then, are you telling me that it would be, they can do that after a while? Or how's this going?
I'm going to get into that one too.
That's
one of the slideshows.
You had to step back a little. You had to lean back.
Because those are the cases where it becomes hard. And I'm going to explain that as well.
Okay, go ahead.
Here is when, of course, I always tell people to remember maternal, mom, paternal, papa. Easiest way to remember paternal and maternal. Most people get that confused. Now, I use this chart to say that in your DNA, you have your traits, your characters, your personality, of course, which most people know. 33%, 33.3 is your mother, 33.3 is your father, 33.3 makes up you as a whole being. Now, most people don't realize that between all of these little cells in your DNA, that's, you look like your grandmother, you look like your grandfather. Those are what we would see as, traits passed down, or, you know, like I said, characters being passed down as well. You know, ideas, everything, like, you know, that mental reservoir is what they call
Right.
it. That all gets passed down as well, you know.
Right.
And that's why I always tell people you got to watch your thoughts.
Stress that. Why they have to watch their thoughts? Go ahead.
Because when you, and I always say, when you, let's say, for example, everybody has a negative and a positive in their DNA. We all have that one. Let's just use a drunk, for example. So, because that's the easiest, you know, we all have a drunk uncle, drunk aunt. Now, that drunk aunt, that drunk uncle could have used a positive part of their DNA and suppressed the alcoholism that might have been passed down from one of their great grand ancestors. But instead, they chose to that weak part of their DNA and they decide to just drink. And of course, that becomes a part of their DNA.
Right.
So that gets passed down too to your generations. And then it's like one day, one of your grandkids go out at a party and they have a drink, and next thing you know, they're like, "Oh man, this is life changing." They don't understand that it's already been encoded in their DNA. Only thing they did was keep building onto it to the point where the lesser of them became higher and the positive of them became lower.
That's that's interesting because I remember there was a book written by someone we know that spoke about this. I don't wonder if he got it from you.
Most likely not. Most likely not.
Yeah, it was one of the recent books, though. One of the recent books of this time. So because that's very interesting, and I can attest to that because I remember, thinking about, and I've said this numerous rounds, thinking about taking my own life when I was younger, and when the last time I thought about it was the last and third time. This time I called my father and let him know, what I've been going through, and sure enough, he said my great grandfather took his life.
Yes.
Out of his, and I now I was able to pinpoint it through numerology. Yes. Being able, and now you telling me that through the bloodline and DNA, yes, and he did do it. He succeeded. He succeeded. He did succeed over a woman at that.
I believe it.
My thing was going down because of stress of family and all that kind of stuff. That's what I thought about, and that's
when you decided that the positive part of you had to exceed the lower part of what was in your DNA.
Exactly.
And I tell people, it's literally a war within yourself.
Yes,
it is a war.
Yes, it is. It
so
is.
The negative and the positive. You got to decide which one you want to. Oh, believe me, I tell people all the time. Somebody pissed me off. Oh, forget it. You know what I mean? I lose my character. I forget who I am. Like everything goes out the window. And then sometimes I just have to sit back and I have to reflect. And I'm like, wait, I'm letting that negative being in me take over the positive being in me. And then that's that moment where I have to sit back and just recollect everything because I know who I am inside and I know who my ancestors are. And I sit up there and I meditate to the ones that I know that was positive. I'm like, hey, you guys got to fight for me. Help me here,
And that's interesting you say that because I try to acknowledge all of them, and the one that I need for war, bring them out when it's time for me to fight. And and I see that happening, when it's time for warriorship, and because I've stood up to some big guys, and I'm only 5'6" and 150 pounds, and I've stood up to some big guys and already knew what I was going to do to them to bring them down to my height. Because and of course the training, with Anthony Muhammad and all these great people in jiu-jitsu, but I already knew what I had to do to bring them down to my height and what I was going to level them out. And because you start seeing what your ancestors start coming to you like, yo, this is how you're going to have to, because this is what we did.
Yep. No fear. Right.
No, exactly. Right. So no. Hey, look, I'll tell you, sis. What you have, what you're doing. Go ahead with your next your part of the slide. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Tap
so in. I just kind of used a basic chart just so that people can understand, because a lot of people sit up there and say, well, they don't have my DNA. I'm not worried about it. They have everyone's DNA. So I use this chart as a prime example to show you how you didn't have to be the person to give your sample for them to have your DNA. This is how they are cracking so many cases, the Golden State Killer, all of these cases where the person murdered somebody, or they're finding old bones to a person who was unidentified, and this is how we're able to figure out who they are.
Right,
So
right.
I use target 1 person as a person that tested on Ancestry, and let's just say target 2 person also tested on Ancestry. So the fact that they all shared the same 4th great grandparents means that we have everybody here's DNA already as well.
Wow.
So you have the people that are like, I'm not taking that test. They already have your DNA.
Right.
So and this is how I help adoptees. So when target 1 tested, and let's just say target 2 is the adoptee who I'm helping.
Right.
All I have to do is work my way from this person on up, across, and figure out who this father A is that I'm looking for, or who the mother is that I'm looking for. And that's how I'm able to crack these cases.
Okay.
So it's like literally, as we call, as genealogists and all forensic genealogists, we call them a mirror tree, because this is a mirror tree based off of DNA only. And I always tell them, oral history is good, but I want to build this tree from what's in you, which means all of your connection, all of your matches is who's going to tell me the story that I need to know.
Now, before you move on, what do you say about the people that are into religion that they claim a tribe? They may claim the tribe of Israel, the tribe of Ishmael, and when you go into their DNA, you don't see that. Or what is that? Is that a religious belief? We understand, but when it comes to the facts, the DNA don't lie. That's what you're saying.
The DNA does not lie. It will tell you exactly what you need to know. You'll have people who say, oh, my ancestor is from Ghana. Your DNA will tell you this person is not from Ghana, because if they were, then so much of your regions wouldn't be targeted in this one area, which might be, let's just say, Mali, or let's just say, just in general, like a lot of people, your ancestors might have traveled there, yes. But when you look at all of these people here on this tree, and you see how you are all connected to one particular region, which might be South America, which might be, Asia, that tells you your story right there. That tells you what you need to know. And then I always tell people, if you really question it like that, test the elders in your family, test your mother, test your father. And then once you do that, you split the genes, and then you work your way on those genes, and it tells you exactly what you need to know. Instead of me looking at a whole region and saying, okay, my parents is from Africa. One of my parents might be from South Africa. The other one might be from North Africa. But once I test them, it splits them up and lets me know who is particularly from what area, and what area I'm gonna be focused on for which ancestor. Which then you can break that down by looking at all of these cousins. And that gives you more of your answers as well.
I wanted to make sure that people know that we're speaking with Leah Lee, of course, CEO and founder of Birth Family Search. You can contact her for more information at 267-304-3959. That's 267-304-3959. And don't forget the admin at birthfamilysearch.org. You can hit her up of FB and IG. Now, on your Birth Family Search, you can also make a donation too, right? To help support the cause, right?
Everyone that makes a donation, they do 100% of the donation goes towards us helping adoptees to get DNA kits. So there is no cost for adoptees or people searching for their biological family. But I always come across people who are like, well, I just want to know who my great grandparents are. At that point, I do have to charge you, because it's extensive research. But for adoptees and people that don't know who their father is, it's no cost out of pocket to them. Some of them, they already take a DNA test, and then they just want me to pick up from there. Other ones, they'll tell me, hey, I don't have a DNA kit, I can't afford one. That's where the donation comes in. 100%. We don't take any admin fees. I don't pay myself, nothing. 100% of the donation goes towards providing kits. To date, we've given people I'll probably say over 500 kits altogether. From our organization.
Congratulations.
And a lot of times we also do giveaways in our group. So usually I try to do it 3 times a year, where we're like randomly, hey, tell us your story. And we give away DNA kits. We even ship it out to them at no cost. So it comes literally nothing out of pocket to them.
Wow. Wow. Give her a round of applause, family. Hey, like she said, look at it. It is a non-profit organization helping adoptees and everyday people find loved ones. And now go on with your PowerPoint.
And they also get a donation receipt. A lot of people tell you they have a non-profit organization.
Yes.
But it's not official. It's not official. You get a donation receipt, and you please use that to get the deduction off of your taxes.
Right. Now, go ahead. Continue with your PowerPoint, because this is very interesting.
Here is the gummy. We always use the gummy bear chart, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what makes everyone unique. The DNA is carried from ancestors to descendants. Mm-hmm. Even identical twins are not the exact same, although they share all of the same ancestors.
Right.
So we use the gummy bear chart to break down the DNA, because most people will say, when I look at my DNA between me and my sibling, we have the same mother, same father, but yet our centimorgans and segments are different. Right. Well, of course, they're going to be different, because let's just say, for example, Jasper right here let's just say CK took more of Jasper's DNA than, let's just say, LJ. LJ took their grandfather Mindy's DNA or grandmother Mindy's DNA. So you'll look at somebody's DNA and you'll say, they have more traits of their grandmother, paternal grandmother. This person has more trait of their paternal grandfather, you know. And so when you start breaking your DNA down, the ones who you see you have more traits, more similarities, like more DNA, like those are the ones I always tell them, dig into their DNA, find out what it is that they like, because chances are that person is not chances. That person is mostly carried within you than possibly your mother or your father, because that can happen as well. So let's say, for example, we're looking at the children of Noah. Lola here has more of Mina's DNA and very, very little of Noah's DNA. But when you look at one of her other ancestors, that one color right here, she said none of. You see that? So when you start looking at how DNA is broken down, it's an amazing. I mean, I love it. It's an amazing thing.
Did you do this chart yourself, or you found this?
I did not. I did one my own, and it came out nothing like this. Slicing gummy bears with a small knife is harder than it looks. That's harder than it looks. Yeah, I'm here looking at it like, wait a minute. Trying to stick them together. No. That is who, you know, we have a lot of these gummy bear charts because we use them as examples to show people how DNA is carried throughout descendants. And everybody will say, well, I have my sister tested, so I don't need to test. Well, you and your sister don't share the same DNA. Your sister might have took more DNA from one of your grandparents than you did. Right. So
is this all, or you got more? Okay, great.
I'm almost to the last one. Okay. So here's just another breakdown of sibling 1, sibling 2, sibling 3, and how sibling 3 took more of the father's DNA. Sibling 2 has more of mom's DNA. Just, you know, and just showing how sibling 3 pretty much took very little of mother's DNA. And they all share the same mother, same father, same grandparents. This is just a easy breakdown of why I always tell people everybody's DNA is not the same, not even identical twins. Right. So here is just a picture. Of course, I have to keep their identity private. This is a picture of what Ancestry looks like. So when you first take your DNA test, this is what you're going to see. Well, without the colors, what I do is I go in and I filter DNA. I filter their ancestors by color. So when you see these little colors, that represents a particular surname, a particular ancestor in your DNA. So as you can see, this person has a full sibling and this person is their half sibling. But you can see that this is a full sibling on mom's side. Because you see the female, you see the male. And then you also see that this half sibling, half brother, does not have the same mother, because as you can see, the colors doesn't even match. And so that breaks down, you know, that whole, when people sit up there and tell you, well, you know, I think my family is related. They actually, when you upload to GEDmatch, they have a thing called, are my parents related? That's an interesting thing.
Wow. Are my parents related? Because it could happen.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm,
And then
mm-hmm,
here's another breakdown showing another family member. So here's an interesting one because you have this one coming up as a close family. It'll say close family to first cousin. This is
mm-hmm,
based off of range. This tech, me looking at 150, I mean 1,554 cent mortgages across 22 segments shared, that's
mm-hmm.
telling me that this person is a half sibling.
Okay.
But the way Ancestry is pulling it is based off of percentage of a DNA.
Mm,
So
mm.
again, when I start working on any person's DNA, the first thing I do is filter their DNA. This
Now,
tells me, go ahead.
now you know, I remember statistics in Jamaica because it's a smaller island. It's not like America and Africa, but you know, they say that usually people that are born under the same name, one out of every three of them might be related. Just the
Right,
same name in Jamaica. I'm just talking about Jamaica right there. So,
right.
you know, what do you say about that? Do you?
In a place like Jamaica,
Right.
so it's funny because we'll it's good because I'll talk about that later on in a it's only about two more slides.
Okay,
But
good.
that's what we called endogamy. So endogamy is when you come from a small town, let's just say, or an
Mm-hmm,
island, and
mm-hmm,
everybody is pretty much related. So you'll
mm,
have second and third cousins having children with each other.
mm-hmm.
Because at the same time, they might not see it like a bad thing, or they might not know
Right,
because the
right, right.
relationship is a little bit distant. And let's just say their great 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 grandfathers might have been siblings. They moved, so one person moved to another part of the island, the other person moved to another part of the town, and they wind up having kids. Later on, the town is growing, people are moving in and out, and then they start having kids with each other.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's what you would call. I mean,
Right, right.
I see this a lot in North and South Carolina.
Really? Oh,
A
wow.
lot. Virginia's
Wow.
another one. I see this a lot. New Orleans, I see that a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So
Wow.
so in this case, oh, I'm on the wrong mouse. In this case, you will see I got
I
computers
got,
everywhere.
I got me too. I understand. I got.
So, so in this case, you will see that this person is related to this person. So
Mhm,
let's just say one, two. The third person down the row is related
mhm,
to this person's mother's side. Why?
mhm,
Because once I filtered that DNA, it told me that they share two of the same ancestors. But
mm,
then it tells me this person has a different ancestor than this one, which means that they're not, this person and this one is not related, but yet this one and the mother side is related. If that makes
mm.
sense, I know it sounds a little complicated,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I hope people kind of understand it because, again, I'm just trying to break
Right.
people from thinking that this is all a novelty thing, that it's fate, that, you can't find your family this way. And that's
Hmm.
definitely not the case.
Okay.
So I get
Okay.
asked this question a lot. Can
Hmm.
my DNA be altered from
Mm.
Ancestry? And I always tell people, if a participant recently had a blood transfusion or a bone marrow, guess what? That DNA of the bone marrow is of the person who was the donor.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And the same thing, lab mix-ups.
Hmm.
It happened less than 1%, but I kind of put 1% as a basic number. They rarely mix up lab samples because I get a lot of people who's like, look, this can't be my DNA because I don't know who these people are. And I'm like, I'm sorry to tell you, but chances are your father's not your father.
Now blood donations, blood donors. What do you now? Is that can that alter the DNA also? Blood donors?
No. So
Oh, now
you're
why is
looking
that?
at, so I'm sorry, you're looking at blood transfusion and a bone marrow, which means that they're literally pulling your DNA cells from the
Hmm.
donor and transporting it into the person who's the donee, technically.
Okay. Right.
So, I mean, bone marrow, everybody know that makes up, somebody pull out your bone marrow and put it in somebody else. They pretty much took on your DNA. So
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
they come back and they take the DNA test, it's going to be of the donor, not of that person.
Okay. Okay. Now, because I know there's been some accounts where people actually dream about that person's life when they've taken on
I
either their
heard
eyes
about
or
that.
organs or whatever. So I've heard those accounts going on. Ancestral Gifts asks, how does spirituality play a part in this?
Spirituality plays a part in it because I always tell people to, when, like, let's say, for example, you deal with your ancestors or Yoruba culture, and
Mhm.
you have these different cultures. when you get initiated, you have to get initiated to your ancestors because technically speaking, they're the ones that's helping you on this physical realm.
Right. Okay.
So they, you know, like when you go through the process, they tell you, give them a list of all of your ancestors' names. If you give them the wrong names, it kind of comes out. You know, they're like, I don't think that one is the right name, but keep working on it type thing. You know what I mean? So overall, I tell people when you're dealing with spirituality, like for me, myself, I'm not a religious person. I deal with spirituality. When I call on someone, it's always me calling on my ancestors because like I said, I'm the reason why they're here. The energy that flows through me was a part of them.
Right, exactly.
You know, I don't go outside of that. If I'm, you know, it's just understanding all of your ancestors, who they are, what they were doing, where they come from. To me, I feel like it makes you a stronger person overall because, you know, you have that one that might have been educated. Like I'm one of those people when I take a test, I am like so scared. I don't know what it is about me, the fear of taking a test, and I don't know why because I always seem to pass them. But to me, I feel like I passed them because I call on my ancestors and I'm just like, hey, all of my ancestors that were educators, I need you. I need you to come forth. I need you to sit with me and make this an easy process for me. And believe it or not, they do.
Makes sense.
My mother tells people all the time, like, you wouldn't believe the amount of licenses my daughter has. But it's, you know, I just feel like I'll never stop learning because every part of my learning experience, I take that with me. And like I said, I pass that down into my DNA.
That's right. Any more slides? What else you got? You got more?
This was, I believe it's only 2 more. So this one is the one where I was explaining to people about GEDmatch. GEDmatch is the one where when you take your DNA test on Ancestry or 23andMe or MyHeritage, you would then remove it from that database by downloading it onto a file, and then you upload it to GEDmatch. When you upload it to GEDmatch, that's when you are opting in, as you can see where it says police with an X, and this one open. When you put the X, you're opting out. When you have it open, you're opting in, which means that you are giving law enforcement access to your DNA to use your DNA to, let's just say you got a cousin that might have been a serial killer. They're going to use your DNA to capture that serial killer. They're going to use your DNA and build out a family tree, even though it won't be private, but they're still going to use it to get the person that they're looking for.
It's not it's not against the law if you click in. If you opt in, then you, of course, they can use it. If you opt out and they do it anyway, that's against the law.
Right. But I always tell people GEDmatch uses codex, which is what they use for, like I said, forensic genealogy. It's a rape kit, things like that. So when you upload, and I tell everybody, when you upload to GEDmatch, just accept that it might be public. The other ones are still private. They have so many people have gone through courts so that they can unseal it and become public, and they keep losing. Why? Again, because that's people's personal information. They agreed to having their information private. So GEDmatch, before they even became, you know, I think this was 2017 when they opted in for law enforcement. Before then, they tell you you're uploading your DNA to a public database. So once law enforcement became part of the website, they told everybody you have a choice to opt in or to opt out. A lot of people remove their DNA.
You got the memorandum right there. You have the right to remain silent. You got that. They give you,
will be held against you. Okay,
they give you the disclaimer. They give you the disclaimer. Okay, that's smart.
This is the very last slide.
Okay, no problem.
This is a case where a guy, his name was Cecil Jacobson. He was a fertility doctor. He had over 250 children, and they're finding each other still today because he impregnated a lot of the women with his sperm. So now it's like the kids are still finding each other every day through genealogy and through DNA tests.
He got my last name right there. So. But see, I'm from my family, Jamaica, all over that place there. So, but that's funny. Remember, Spike Lee did a movie like that.
Did he?
He
Okay, I
did
gotta
a
watch it.
movie. It did a movie on that. I forgot. Yeah, with a guy impregnated a lot of women, and they all had children, all kinds of
Based
stuff.
on a true story, because a few
Yeah.
fertility doctors did that. And then also a lot of people always want to know, when did the first fertility baby come out? The first
Wow.
one was, conceived in 1978. Although I say before then,
Right.
but publicly 1978 in
Mhm.
England.
Wow. Now, what do you say about test tube babies? What? Because my daughter, she went to school with one that was actually a test tube baby. So what do you say about that? What is that? Can you
I
find their genealogy
you
also through
yes,
DNA?
you still can,
Of
because
course,
their DNA is still like everybody else's, even
of
though it's
course.
made in the lab. The only It's interesting because I say the only connection they miss is that spark. You know how they say DNA, when you
Right,
ejaculate, the sperm
right, right,
travels,
right,
it
right,
hits
right,
the spark in the brain and travels,
right,
to the
right.
egg. I'll say that's probably the only thing they miss.
Hmm.
But when you test their DNA, it's just like everybody else's. It connects
Okay.
them to Ancestry and everything else. Now,
Hmm.
I think they still experimenting with a lot of them and still have years of research to figure out what is a long-term effects down the line.
Mm, mm, okay. Somebody just asked. Oh, somebody just added that the name was "She Hate Me" film. I guess it's by Spike Lee. That was a movie called "She Hate Me."
I
Yeah,
need to check.
I used to work for Spike back in the day doing security on the sets, but that was one of the movies he had filmed. And I remember
Okay.
as what's his name that was played the Falcon in the Marvel movie. He was the one that he was impregnating a bunch of women.
Wow.
Anthony Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie.
This
That's his name.
A
Yeah.
lot of the fertility doctors did this, and
Wow.
I mean, they tried to press charges on some of them, and
Wow. Well, that was a wonderful presentation, my dear. I mean, gotta
thank
give you a round of
you.
applause. My goodness. You ain't teaching any online classes or none of that stuff or
A
doing any
lot.
workshops?
I get that request a lot, and
Yeah.
a lot of
Hey.
times I spend so much time just trying to help people's cases
Right.
that it's hard for me to try to break away from that to teach someone else. I would, oh, believe me, I would love it, because I feel like this industry needs more people to be able to
Mhm.
do what I'm doing. I
Yes.
mean, I feel like the more, I mean, let's talk about history in itself. The more
Hmm.
we understand who we are, where we come from, it kind of broaden our mind to a
Hmm.
different level. It kind of opens us up to
Hmm.
accept, like they always say, your ancestors does not come to you. Your ancestors don't come to you if they feel like you fear them. So a lot of
Hmm.
people say, well, I never dreamt about my ancestors. Well, did you ever ask? Because maybe you just haven't tapped into that line yet.
Hmm. Now, in some dreams, entities are holding you down. What do you say about that? Or trying to hold on to you, embrace you? I know I've gotten a comfortable embrace, and I felt it was my grandmother because I remember her
Mm,
embracing. Because I know she's come to me in my dream and put my head on her knee and say, "You'll
right.
be all right." She always say, "You'll be all right."
So I had, someone that grew up with me. She
Mm-hmm.
recently passed, and I went
Mm.
to visit her right before she passed.
Wow. Sorry to
And
hear that.
I just, was sitting there, and out of nowhere, she just was like, "My my brother's here." And I'm like, I turned to her daughter. I was like, "What she mean by her brother's here?" She said, "Well, her brother passed a couple of months ago." And I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay." And she said, "Yeah, he's here, and he's here with my father, but my father's in the background, like he's not ready for me yet."
Mm.
When I tell you, that was like everything I needed to know, everything I needed to hear, because I always tell people, when you talk to people who are like near death experiences,
Yeah.
all of them always talk about their ancestors coming for them.
Mm-hmm.
All of
Mm-hmm.
them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
unless they're like super religious and they're like, Jesus Christ came for me.
That's the only familiarity. That's the
Yeah,
familiarity. Yeah, right.
that's the point. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So if it was nothing for our ancestors to have us here,
Mm-hmm.
then what is the connection after that?
Mm.
What is it? Are we just here, and we just supposed to make our mistakes as we learn? Are they here to guide us? Are, like, people have all these questions, but why not ask, is there more to life than us just being here?
Right.
Are we
Of
born through the parents that we're born to by accident?
course not.
If I'm born to, an alcoholic father, and
Mm-hmm.
it built me into who I am today, was that an accident? Should I have been
Mm.
born to Whitney Houston as a mother and just been rich? You know what I mean? Like these are the type of things that people don't ask. Like
Right.
everything that you go through, like your life, that your destiny is already written for you.
Right.
So the path that you're walking, I mean, I'm one of those type of people. I always tell people, cause and effect is the reason for
Yes.
everything.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
the things that you've done in your past is what led you to where you are today. The people that you meet is not that accident.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
and
Hmm.
the path that you walk is, I mean, sometimes you meet somebody and you're like, wow, what is the reason I'm meeting? Like, I always think it's a deeper reason for why I'm meeting somebody. I'm not just meeting you just because.
That's right. That's right.
What is it that I'm supposed to learn from you? And what is it that I'm supposed to be doing for you?
That's right. Now,
Like,
and that's powerful what you just said. And I wanted to say, you know, there's a reason for everything that we do, and you're right. You know, even from my coming into certain organizations and all
right.
that kind of stuff, and meeting with family members that you and I know, and all that kind of stuff, and it was, matter of fact, it was that person that said anytime I needed to feel happy, I should sing. And he
Mm,
was right. He always said that to me back over there in Brooklyn, back in that community. He
right.
said he went running to me and said, because he seen me always smiling anytime, but he knew I loved to sing and all that. He said, and that's why they named me at that time a name that was named after a singer. He called
Right.
me that name, and that every time when I was going through any type of depression, I would play certain reggae songs or
Mm,
certain R&B songs, or I'll sing with it just to get me off of that energy, that vibration of
right.
that. So,
Right.
already now I'm hearing a ringing in my ears now, so I know what it is. Something's being told. But I want to thank you very much for coming
No,
on,
thank
and
you.
give her a round of applause, family. This was the great LEAH LEE in the building, man. And make sure, if you know anybody that may be adopted and that's really looking to find a family, to find some healing, to find some closure
Yes.
or some openers, because it's really an opening, not just a closure. It might be an
Right.
opening.
It's a
Uh,
journey.
it's a journey. That's right. Please contact her at birthfamilysearch.com, birthfamilysearch.org. Pardon me. That's birthfamilysearch.org. Contact her by the number right here on. I'm here messing around with the wrong mouse also. That's 267 304 3959. That's 267-304-3959. And don't forget admin at birthfamilysearch.org. That's admin at birthfamilysearch.org. That's the website. Make a donation on the website. Make a donation. Make a donation. Remember, Birth Family Search is a 501c3 nonprofit organization helping adoptees and everyday people to find loved ones. And I want to thank the testimonials of the one Tanya Blandon, Charmaine Mosley, and of course Carol Phillips. Thank y'all for coming on and sharing your journey with us. Very, very proud of every one of you and all those that tune in. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for tuning in and allowing this beautiful sister LEAH to share her vision and share what she's doing. And don't forget, please, 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 please go to that website, make a donation, because every donation helps an adoptee to get their DNA kit, get get the research starting and getting it
Right.
going. And she doesn't do this for any money. It's a nonprofit organization. So again, LEAH, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We definitely talk, and definitely got to bring you back on again so we get some more stuff, because you do more than just this. So I don't know.
I do.
You
I
got so
do.
much going on, so many businesses.
I tell
Stop
people all the time, I'm gonna get all the rest I need to when I'm dead. Because right
Exactly.
now I'm moving, I'm living. I'm gonna
That,
make the best out of it. And I always tell people the key thing is this: what will your obituary say in the end?
mm,
If it's not
mm.
something you're proud of today, make a change today.
Wow, wow. And that's what Les Brown says: live full and die empty. Live full of your goals, your
Woo!
dreams, and everything you want to do, and die empty. That's how
Mm,
you're supposed to. So big up to Les Brown for even saying that back in the day.
yeah.
And again, thank you very much, Layla. Thank you,
Thank you. I
Leah, and
appreciate
be
it.
safe and tell the family, give the husband and everybody a big old hug, group
I
hug,
will
and we'll
do.
talk. All right. You be safe.
Thank you. You too.
That's it. That's it. Our great one, the one, the only Leah in the building. Want to thank her all the time. Thank her and her family, who I grew up with as a teenager, and her moms, her dad, also, who inspired me to be a critical thinker. Big up to her father, big up to her mother to also inspire me to be a researcher. My mom used to make clothing for me, so big up to her moms all the time. And also, she was a great researcher herself, and she's still doing her thing. So big up to BirthFamilySearch.org, another great show for the history book family. I want to thank all of y'all for coming in. Yes, right, Ancestral Gift, big up to you. Beautiful sister, yeah. Big up to the beautiful sister, thank you. What is that ringing in the ears? Help me, brother. Oh, man, you got to research that. That's a deep thing, man, especially when people are talking about you, or talking good about you and talking bad about you. Remember, family, this is your brother King Simon right here on WKSP TV. That's KSP TV. And of course, family, just want to remind everybody who's coming up. And I'll have the flyers up this week, of course. October the 24th, we got I keep on saying, let me take a deep breath, take a rhyme back, rewind. Okay, Leanna Hanel will be here. She's a holistic practitioner, and she's a co-author of Healing Thyself. It's a hardcover book, which I'll have out for the interview. Her and Dr. Ali Muhammad did the book. Also on October 27th, we have Elizabeth Hoekstra coming in live and direct. Biohack Your Life, baby. Biohack Your Life. She's on Forbidden Knowledge TV with Billy Carson. Also, she's a business partner of Billy Carson. And much more to come up right here on King Simon Presents. And of course, just want to remind everybody, I got some new co-hosts that I'm going to introduce to the family. That's right, on October the 17th, I'll be introducing these beautiful ladies who will be my new co-hosts. Sometimes they'll be on together, sometimes it'll be one at a time, but whoever can make it for different, I will have the new energy, new co-host, new vibe. Remember, subscribe to this channel right here. That's King Simon Presents, KSP TV. Sister New Journey and Sensei Shirley. Sensei Shirley will be in the building live and direct. She is a true sensei in martial arts. And Sister New Journey, she works for the city also. But we're going to be having a wonderful dialogue and some wonderful guests that will be coming through. So make sure you're tuned into these beautiful sisters. And both of them are born the same day, 2 Libra spirits. So they come to bring some balance. I'm loving it. 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 So again, family, let me take this off the screen. Just want to remind you, make sure you support all of the sponsors. Of course, we got this beautiful sister, Suzie Scripts. If you are an author, if you are a writer, and you're looking for editing services, please contact Suzie Script at 914-361-9467. That's 914-361-9467. Or email her at suzies.scripts11@gmail.com. That's suzies.scripts11@gmail.com. If you found it very informative, this program, please send your Cash App. It helps to keep the lights on. It keeps the stuff going. It keeps the electricity getting everything hopping and popping. And that's $King Simon 3158. And don't forget PayPal.me/King Simon. That's PayPal.me/King Simon. If you want some property, you want to own your own property for the first time or buy some new property, contact Camille Orta. That's Camille Orta at 718-916-9129. That's 718-916-9129. Give them a call. If you have fibroid problems, if you have women issues and things dealing with mental health and all that, contact this sister here. She has some great products, and make sure you use the coupon code also. That's right. That's pedalwise.com. Use the coupon code, 10% off with the coupon code. That's King 2021. That's King 2021. Make sure you hit them up and show some love and tell them King Simon sent you. Also, Lloyd Strayhorn, if you want to take his class. Matter of fact, Lloyd had Ian Levon Zant on his show earlier today from 7 to 8 p.m. before I started. So make sure you check his website out. But make sure you go to his website and his YouTube channel, Numbers and You. But make sure you go to his website. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And make sure you take his courses on his website. Also, I have an uploaded course right now on holistic numerovation. Make sure you hit me up, email me or text me, and you can get that course. It's a very reasonable price for an 8-hour course. 9 phases, 8 hours, 2 links, and the course is yours after you purchase it. Also, make sure you get my books. My books are online on Amazon right now. No promotion is bad promotion. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple. Children's health is important, and Numerovation for mental stability. People are going through mental health issues right now. You want to stay motivated through your numbers. My book can be one of the helping guides for you. Buy the books via Linktree. You could go straight to the Linktree / King Simon the Numerovator. That's King Simon the Numerovator, and you can find my books immediately on those links and on my website. And if you want to do a Numerovation session with me, text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. If you live outside of the United States, if you live in Canada, live in the Caribbean, live in England, Europe, wherever you live outside of the United States, use WhatsApp. But if you live inside of the United States, please text me regular phone at 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. Last but not least, content disclaimer. Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guests, speakers, or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. That's right. There we go. There we go. And we're going to close out with the late, great Dr. Delbert Blair's prayer. So family, take a deep breath, relax. We're going to close out a Dr. Blair's prayer. If you want to support Dr. Blair's legacy, please go to his website. And if you want to know about Dr. Blair, he was a metaphysics teacher who taught in over 200 colleges and venues. And he was very down to earth, brother. And I used to bring him in town. I was the last really to bring him into New York. So hit him up on hit his website up. Brother Tony and his staff is handling that. www.themetacenter2.com. That's www.themetacenter2.com. You can get Dr. Blair's books. Yes, he has written some books. He has the Faraday Tech Protector for phones and all that. Magnets, diodes are still on his website. Show some love to Dr. Blair as we close out in prayer. So prayer time, family. You ready for the prayer? Are you ready for the prayer? Are you ready for the prayer? Take a deep breath. Count 3 times. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. LEAH LEE 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. Let's say it for the people in the back. Let's say it in a holistic fashion. Let's say it with everybody's included. Please, universal creator, know in our hearts that we love you. Please protect us and this planet on which we live now. Please open our minds, our spirits, and our souls to receive only truth and your love now. Once again, thank you very much, family. Thank Dr. Blair. Give Dr. Blair a well-deserved round of applause for all that he's done and showing us that love. Thank you, Dr. Blair. Thank you, family, for tuning in. Have a great day, afternoon, or evening. Be safe, be strong, be focused, be healthy, be real, and be good to yourself, family. Don't forget, get my book, get my book, get my book. It's top 30, number 30, ranked amongst the top 100 numerology books of all time. Be safe, family. Like Marcus Mosiah Garvey say, up you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. And like Dr. Khalid Muhammad always said, regardless of land, label, or language, there is but one universal creator, one universal God. And we are gods having a human experience, like Baba James Smalls always say. Take care, people. Peace.
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovation. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for mental stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go now.